Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Jamie Pollock. My company is RoyalWise. You can always find us online at royalwise.com. Today's class is our Mac OS All the Basics Part 2. I got a Part 1 class where we talk about the basics of the Mac OS operating system, covering the desktop and the dock and the menu and a couple other system preference issues. This is the Part 2 All the Basics, where we go a little bit deeper and we talk about kind of other features and other functions that happen in the operating system. Some of it is like, well, why did that happen? Or how did I make that happen? So some of it's good to know so that you know what's happening to you. And some of it's really cool productivity stuff. We're going to be talking about multi-touch gestures on the trackpad and the magic mouse, just so that you know. We're talking about the magic mouse. That's one of these little guys here. Okay, and it doesn't have two buttons, it's just smooth, and we can click on it, but we can also move our finger around on it, right? So we can, what's called swipe on the magic mouse. And then also the trackpad. So if you have a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, you're using a trackpad, but here's a little portable, like a Bluetooth trackpad that I use, and we're going to be looking at the trackpad and doing swipe maneuvers on the trackpad, 2 fingers and 3 finger swipes. And so I'm going to be demoing some of that stuff for you. And I also have my iPhone set up, so I might actually show you some of the swiping, but I'm going to be describing it. I'm going to talk about 2-finger swiping and 3-finger swiping. So just know that that's what I'm talking about, is I'm swiping on the trackpad with either 3 fingers or 2 fingers, stuff like that. After that, we're going to be talking about the mission control area, the Launchpad, where did Save As go? I'm going to look a little bit of stuff about like dictation and Siri. And then also other kind of cool features like continuity and handoff, the spotlight search, and just a lot of other kind of like notification center things that happen in the operating system that are good for you guys to know about. Now, while we're in system preferences, I'll go ahead and show you this. If I go to the trackpad area, and again, I went to the Apple menu and I went into system preferences, and then I go to the trackpad area. Here are the videos I was talking about. And so right now what we're talking about is in the more gestures area, and you notice there are little videos here. And what we've done so far is the swiping between full screen apps with a 3-finger swipe. Okay, and you can go on your own machine and look at these. Now you'll notice they've got their fingers kind of close together. I like to spread them out a little bit. I don't like them so close together. Sometimes it'll think it's only 1 finger. It's got to feel 3 touches. So just make sure that you take control of that. Also, here's the mission control that we've talked about, 3 fingers up and or down on the trackpad. Now, also, if I go into system preferences and I go to mouse and I have a magic mouse available to me, same thing here, where I can say right here, swipe right or left with 2 fingers to move between full screen apps, and the double tap with 2 fingers to get in and out of the mission control. So Debbie's asking, what if you don't have a trackpad or a mouse? I'm going to go ahead and ask, well, what do you have? Because every computer, every Mac computer, laptop, or desktop has either a mouse or a trackpad. There's no way to move the cursor. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone, then you're using a touch screen, and that's when we don't have a cursor. But these are all Mac OS features. Debbie, if in the chat you want to tell me if that answered that or not for you, or if you have a follow-up about it. So I guess I was thinking about a separate trackpad. The trackpad is really like a laptop thing, right? So most of the people that have laptops end up using the trackpad on their laptop and don't even necessarily realize it. Oh, I'm kind of getting caught in the thing. There we go. Come on, you. My virtual background is messing with me. So here I'm on my laptop, and there I've got my trackpad on there. That's when most people are using the trackpad, is when they're on a laptop. But again, you can get this Bluetooth external connected trackpad on any device you want to. If it's an iMac or a Mac Mini, you can still play with these features. Okay, let's look at a couple more multi-touch gestures. Just to recap, we've talked about 3 fingers up and down and right and left on a trackpad, and then on the magic mouse, 2 fingers swiping right or left, and then the 2-finger double tap. Those are the same functions on the 2 devices. The next one we're going to talk about is two-finger swiping. So traditionally on any machine, two fingers on the trackpad is going to scroll for you. But you need to make sure that the cursor, the little pointer, is over the top of whatever it is you want to scroll, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and go to the RoyalWise website. Let me see. Let me get over here. So now I'm on the RoyalWise website, and you'll notice down the right side, I actually have a scroll bar. But traditionally right now, by default, that's actually hidden from you. And I'm in System Preferences again under General. And right here, it says automatically based on the mouse or the trackpad. When you get a new machine or you install a new operating system, they default to no scroll bar down the side. And so you'll notice when I do my two-finger swiping on the trackpad or one-finger swiping on the Magic Mouse, I can swipe up or down. Here I'm on my Magic Mouse going up or down with one finger to scroll. And or on the trackpad, two fingers. And I'll just hold this up and show you here. So I'm two fingers scrolling on the trackpad. Okay, but the other thing we can do with two fingers is the right or left, and what that does in the browser is it takes us through our browser history. So it's like hitting the back button and the forward button up here. I can use two fingers and move between. So let me go to the calendar, and let me go to the class for today. Okay, so I've now gone to 3 or 4 different places, and now I can two-finger swipe to move back between where I am and where I've been. On the Magic Mouse, that's a single finger swiping right or left to basically what they call page, to move between the pages of where I am in the browser. Another time when this comes in really handy is in the calendar. In the calendar, I'm using my mouse at this point, swiping with a single finger up or down to scroll through by day. But I can also swipe right or left to move from day to day. Okay, and then again on the trackpad, two finger right or left to move between the pages, and two fingers up or down to scroll through it. Okay, kind of a fun one there. Two fingers up or down on the trackpad, a single finger up or down on the mouse, right or left also, two fingers on the trackpad, one finger on the mouse. So I'm going to jump back into System Preferences, and I'm going to go back and just show you those here in the video area. This is swiping between pages with two fingers on the trackpad side, and on the mouse side, swiping between pages with a single finger. And notice you can scroll right or left with one finger, or you can change it to two fingers. But it kind of messes everything else up, so watch out for that. But just know, and if you don't like some of this stuff, I have some people that don't like, well, why do I keep going into mission control? You can come in here and unclick it. You can say, I don't want that feature to happen. So when I touch the trackpad of the mouse, I don't want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. We can always uncheck it and disable it so that it's not a problem. So here we are right here with the scroll and zoom area. We've just talked about scrolling with two fingers on the trackpad and a single finger on the mouse. But something about scrolling I want to mention is that it's called natural scrolling. And that's basically that when I take two fingers up, what's on the screen goes up, and when I take two fingers down on the trackpad, things go down, which is the opposite of what we're used to. And by the way, I mentioned my scroll bars are not there right now, but if I want to, I can go to General and say, always show me my scroll bars. I do this for most of my clients when they get a new machine. I just turn on the scroll bars again. If they're not on, you've got to scroll to see them and then try to get over there to grab it in time. Oh, I scroll and then try to grab it and I missed it again. Right? So you got to kind of be good at this kind of scroll and grab thing if you want to actually grab the scroll bar. But as far as natural scrolling goes, you notice now that I have the scroll bar, if I drag it down, the window goes up. And if I drag it up, the content goes down, which is non-natural or unnatural. I guess it's not unnatural. But that's why they call the kind of scrolling that happens. And by the way, I'm going to turn on my scroll bars again. You guys can decide how you want it. But that's why we call this natural. The scroll direction is natural or not natural. So I like that when I take 2 fingers on the trackpad and go up, the window goes up. When I take 2 fingers down, it goes down. You may not be used to that if you're used to grabbing a scroll bar. Okay, so scrolling, 2-finger scrolling, kind of some fun stuff. Some more 2-finger gestures that we can use. This one is Safari specific. It's in a couple other places, but it's a 2-finger pinch. Okay, so if I'm in Safari, I can actually pinch out and I'll zoom in on whatever I'm looking at on that website, right? So I'm in Safari and I'm going to pinch in and zoom in, and I'm going to take a pinch back this way. I'm going to pinch in to make it go away from me and pinch out to have it expand for me. Okay, now this does work in a couple other applications like photos, right? So we're looking at photos and things like that. But it doesn't work everywhere, right? Also, you'll get used to it, and occasionally I'll be in like Chrome or Firefox and I'll try to do it and it doesn't work. And I'm like, why can't I zoom in on this website? Another web-specific feature, and this happens in other places, is a 2-finger double tap on the trackpad, which is going to zoom into what's called the column. So you'll notice like this is a column, this is another column. And so if I 2-finger double tap right here, it's going to zoom in on that so I can see it better. And then I can 2-finger double tap to zoom back out. So it's kind of a zoom in and out of the column of the website. Let me see if I can get a good example here. I'm going to go to the CNN website. And so we'll notice we've got 3 columns of information. And I just want to see this left one. I'm going to double tap there and zoom in on just that column so it's bigger and I can see it better. 2-finger double tap on the trackpad to zoom out. Same thing in the middle column, 2 fingers to zoom in and 2-finger tapping. 2-finger double tapping. On the Magic Mouse, it's a single finger double tap. Okay, so I can go anywhere I need to and single finger double tap to zoom in and out of the content. And again, it's going to be based on where the cursor is on where it's going to zoom in. So you do need to get used to this one because this is one of those, why is it doing that, right? Why is it zoomed in? Why is everything bigger than it needs to be? On the trackpad, I'm pinching in and out with my fingers and or 2-finger double tapping to turn it on and off or to zoom in and zoom out. On the Magic Mouse, single finger double tap to move in and out. So they call the double tapping, 2-finger double tapping, the smart zoom. And also, like it's on the Magic Mouse, a single finger. The next one is the rotate. I'm going to just let you watch the video here and see that I'm taking 2 fingers on the trackpad and rotating, and it's making that picture turn. This is something you wouldn't do in a web browser. You would never want to rotate a picture in a web browser, but you do in photos, right? Maybe you've got a photo that was taken sideways and you want to rotate that. Another time this comes into play is in Pages. Maybe you have an image and you want to like make it sideways or you want to just angle it a little bit. So 2 fingers on the trackpad and then you actually turn it like a knob with 2 fingers and it'll rotate that image. Kind of cool. Okay. Point and click stuff. This is kind of a cool one. Is the secondary click. In the original class, part 1, we talked about a right mouse click, right? But our mouse doesn't have a right or left button. Therefore, we have what's called a control click. We can hold down the control key and click to get this menu to pop up, right? But with the trackpad, we can actually do what's called a secondary click, which is click with 2 fingers. So if we click with 2 fingers, then when that pop-up menu, that contextual menu pops up based on the context of where the cursor is on our screen. Okay, so that's a 2-finger single click on the mouse, on the trackpad to get that menu to pop up. Now on the Magic Mouse, what we can do is turn on the right click. Right? Do we want a right click on our mouse or a left click on our mouse to do the secondary click or the right click menu pop up? Right? And so if you don't want, I have some people that they don't want to distinguish right or left side of the mouse. They turn this off so that their Magic Mouse does not have a right click. But if you have a Magic Mouse and you'd like to be able to right click on things, you can turn this on and all of a sudden your Magic Mouse will have a right click. versus the left click, which is a normal click. A right click will pop up that menu. Okay, I do want you to notice, as far as this multi-touch gesture concept goes, there's not as many things you can do with the Magic Mouse. You know, we've looked at swiping between pages, swiping between full screen apps, and getting in and out of mission control. And for the point and click, we've got the natural scrolling, the secondary click, and that smart zoom. Also, you can control the tracking speed if you feel like your mouse is moving too fast or moving too slow. But when we go back to the trackpad area, there's more stuff that it can do. So we're going to kind of point those out real quick. I'm going to quit demoing. I'm just going to kind of point some of this stuff out real quick. Lookup and data detectors. This is a tap with 3 fingers. This is kind of one of the cooler things, where if I am in a web browser and there is a word I'm not sure what it means, I can do a 3-finger tap on it and it will pull it up for me into a bigger area. Let me get to somewhere where I don't have a bunch of links. So here we go, bookkeeping, 3-finger tap on there, and it's going to pop up. And I have to hit this continue button to allow it to access the dictionary area. But you'll notice it's looking up the word for me in the dictionary. So this is, they call it data detectors and or lookup. So I can go find any word. I'm not really sure what it means. Workflow, 3-finger tap on that guy. Oop, come here, you. And it's just going to have a pop-up that gives me a definition of it. You'll notice if I were to 2-finger click on it, in the pop-up menu, I still have lookup or translate. So those are available in the contextual menu too. But it's kind of cool that if you're just on a website and you want to know what a word means, 3-finger tap on it, and it'll just pop up a definition for you. Kind of fun. We talked about the 2-finger tap or click on the trackpad. And this is one I actually have turned off, and I recommend you don't turn it on, is tap to click. It allows you to tap on the trackpad instead of clicking on it. And every time you touch the trackpad, it registers as a click. You don't actually have to press the trackpad down to have it happen. When this first came about and people turned it on, they would brush their trackpad with their hand and things would start jumping around and clicking, and they would be like highlighting things that they didn't want to. Anytime I get called about a ghost in the machine, this is normally the reason, is the tap to click is turned on. And if they're on a trackpad, maybe they're using they're typing and they brush it with the wrist or something, and next thing you know, the cursor's jumping around. Okay, I'm not in control of my machine. If you do have tap to click on, make sure that you understand what it is and use it very subtly. Okay, we talked about the scrolling, the natural scrolling, zooming in and out, smart zoom, and rotation. And then under more gestures for the trackpad specifically, swiping between pages with 2 fingers, swiping between full screen apps with 3. Mission control, this is kind of an interesting one. Mission control is this guy down the left side that might pop open sometimes, and it lets you know your notifications, and you're allowed to put widgets in here now. If you do a 2-finger swipe off the edge of your trackpad, you can get in and out of mission control without clicking on anything. And so you'll see the video right here of them just using 2 fingers to just swipe right off the edge of the trackpad onto it, and then from the right onto to off of it to open and control the notification center. We talked about mission control. Also, this one's an interesting one. Swipe down with 3 fingers to get into what's called app expose, which basically just means, like, let me see everything on the screen right now. Like, what are all the things that I've got open and what are all the windows? And it kind of lays them all out so you can see them spread out. This one's a little complicated. This is the Launchpad, how to get into the Launchpad. We talked about the Launchpad a little bit in the first class. It's this guy down here on the dock that looks like a little iPad, or, you know, in the older version, it was a rocket ship, a silver circle with a rocket ship. But if I click on that, I go into what's called the Launchpad, where I have all my apps. And this is all the apps on my computer, not just what's on the dock, but everything, right? The dock really should be where you put the apps you use every day. The Launchpad is where you can kind of find everything. But if you actually look here, if you can pinch with the thumb and 3 fingers, and it's a 4-finger pinch, and it's a little hard to do, but if you get used to it, you can 4-finger pinch on the trackpad in to get into Launchpad and out to get out of it. Now, we've made it to Jamie's first pro tip, and you'll notice they're kind of doing it in this video you know, almost like three fingers together, and the other one they're kind of pinching. But there's nothing that says we have to use one hand. So here's kind of a funny thing is that you can actually use two fingers from two hands and go in and out this way, and it will still work. So if you like that feature and you use the Launchpad a lot, you can actually do two hands, two fingers per hand. And then show the desktop is the same thing as spreading out with four fingers so that it kind of clears everything off the desktop and you can kind of see your desktop. Okay, we've made it through that first section of multi-touch gestures. It's interesting, and it's a new way to interact with your computer. If you've never used a full screen app, if you've never had more than one desktop, you may or may not, like, why would I do that, right? I use it all the time. If you get used to it and you learn how to do it, it becomes very, very useful. And then all of these other multi-touch gestures, again, are really innovative ways to interact with our computers that we didn't have before. And so I like to make sure that you know what they are, you know that they're available to you. And as I said, go to System Preferences and watch all those videos, and then you'll be able to study them and learn them on your own.